terrific performance by and large on Saturday. What are your sort of overriding reflections on the back of that now we're at Monday?
Yeah, I mean, we just sat with the players now and gone back through a lot of the clips and yeah, we felt like it was I mean, I said then, it's so disappointing with the final goal, but if we'd have defended that and headed it away in that moment, I think we would have all turned around and said that was a fantastic performance. So as disappointed as we are that we don't defend that late set piece, I think overall the performance was very strong against a top team. So I think that's give us some good positive feeling, and we've identified, after that week of training that we had out on the pitch, we could really get to grips with how we wanted to play, and I think the players delivered on quite a few points there.
What can you do about it? I mean, because this is a problem that it's not just unique to yourself. I mean, this is a problem that's been going throughout the season. Set pieces, long balls into the box. As a coach, what is there that you can do on the training ground to sort of eliminate the problems that have gone on for so long?
Well, in my opinion, I think it's, there was quite a few long throws and set pieces and a lot of long balls into the box. During the first half, we defend them all competently. I think it's always one of them, last minute of the game, players' mindset becomes a bit more frantic, and it's about trying to calm down and stay focused, because you saw it, I don't know if you saw Rangers last night. Mo probably doesn't want me to talk about this, but they scored 3 minutes into added time of the extra time, and the goalkeeper goes up and scores a goal in the cup, and it's one of them where he's totally alone, but you can just see the mindsets of the players change a little bit in those really pressured situations. So for me, we've defended a lot of set pieces competently, but then sometimes you've seen like overtime against Eastleigh, injury time against overtime in the first half against Eastleigh, added time against Torquay. It's kind of like the stress of the situation increases, and then I think you've got to manage that and stay focused on your job, stay focused on your role and responsibility. So I think we have to work more with that than necessarily the tactical setup, because for other parts of the game we did that well.
Do you think it becomes more of a case when things are becoming that frantic and that stressful that players sort of look at their own performance and where they're stood rather than sort of doing the whole organisation thing because they're so worried about what may happen?
Yeah, it can be sometimes. Yeah, and I think what happened in that one is everyone was so keen to go and win that ball and kill the game that we ended up with too many across the front post, and it's probably born out of genuine will to try and win the ball, but then the flick on comes and somebody's spare at the back, and it's so frustrating because actually that was their route of creating chances, was pump the ball into our box and long throws, and when the ball was on the floor I don't think there was much of a contest between the two teams.
And you obviously picked up some injuries during the course of the game. Yeah. How are those two, Alex Lacey and Jim O'Brien in particular?
Yeah, I mean, Jim was getting some treatment today. I don't think he felt it was too bad. I think he just felt a tightness in there as he made that run through on goal in the second half, and I think he's quite smart. He knows his own body, and then he came out. So hopefully that's not too bad. Lacey, not sure. We sent him for a scan today, so we'll know a little bit more after that. But that was frustrating, And I said after the game, when you're playing so well, to have to make two enforced changes rather than tactical changes is always a bit frustrating.
Will both players be available tomorrow night? Do you know?
No, neither. No.
Neither. Do you know what Jim's problem is? Is it like groin or?
Yeah, just in and around that area. I think he stretched for the ball and just felt a bit of tightness in there. So, it's something around the groin area. So hopefully it wasn't. I don't think it was a pull. So we check him, and we'll probably know more. I think he got assessed today, and then we'll probably know more as it settles down.
And Alex Lacey, what's his problem? Because I know he did have a problem with tight hamstrings, didn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't his hamstrings though. He's had a little problem in his kind of around the pelvis area, and I think it just flared up during the first half, and he felt like he couldn't go at maximum, and obviously that's a problem if he ends up 1-against-1 or something. Even though really he didn't have to defend much in that first half, and I thought he was fantastic with the ball. But you can't take a risk then in the second half, so obviously he had to come out.
How much of it is a blow to lose those two players in terms of their experience and the quality they obviously bring to the side.
Yeah, very much. I mean, I thought both players played well. Jim especially was outstanding in there. I thought he gave so much energy and running. But then that's what the player who comes in has to then deliver. You know, we need that same energy and intensity, and we have good players that can come in and play in there. The same, we've got some options at the back, and it's for the next player to come in and step up, and I think we're going to need that more than not just now, but several times. I think during this the last 9 games, we're going to need players to step in and deliver.
Is that the challenge now for those players who obviously come into the side tomorrow night, that they've got to try and stake their place?
Yeah.
For being in the team on a regular basis.
Exactly, and then when Lacey, Jim, or whoever else is fit and hunting down for their spot, they have to keep their spot and they have to keep delivering, and that's football really. So that we have players that are hungry to get in the team, and now they have to show that worth as soon as they get out on the pitch, and then give us a situation where we can't take them out because they're too valuable.
And the last time I think I spoke to you after the game, we spoke about Ruben Rodriguez, Jordan Barnett, Elijah Sam. What can you tell us about them?
Yeah, they've I said before, every player has to earn their spot in the squad on merit, on everything that they do every day, and I need to see that hunger. And I think they've been training well since we had that conversation. I think they've been training well. They've put themselves in a good position of contention, and that means that I think they're more hungry to get back in now and show what they can do. So I'm sure that maybe more of them is going to be involved tomorrow, and maybe they can contribute again in a good way.
Obviously, you play Eastleigh again. It's only a short time since we last faced them. Is that a good thing, or is it a negative?
I don't see it either. It doesn't matter, good or negative. I mean, we're going to play. We've played them recently, and we'll play them again. I think we know a little bit more about them in detail from our side. Definitely, we saw them, and I thought they played a good game against us. Even though I felt like we had parts where we were fairly composed in the game, but we didn't create the volume that we wanted to. So we really want to improve on the last performance that we put out against them, and it'll be a tough one. They beat Sutton, and they're in a good little vein of form now. But I think we went to Torquay. Torquay were in best form in the league, and we played a great game. So we'll take that with us.
I was going to say, how much confidence do you think the players? I know it was a setback to obviously surrender a 2-goal lead, but in terms of the confidence overall, has that been your message to the players? Look, forget that, but look at your overall performance and how good it was.
I think we tried to look beyond the result and look more at the performance. I think it's important, and look at the process through the week that gave us that performance. The things that we did on the training pitch, and then how they conveyed them onto the pitch at the weekend was really good. So yeah, I mean, we all felt more like a loss at the end of the game, but we kind of picked ourselves up and said, look, let's look at the performance, and if we continuously produce performances like that, results will come as a result.
I've just got to ask you about Sam Slocum finally as well. I know he'd been for a scan. What's the latest on that?
He was back on the pitch today, but he's still, we're not gonna stress that because we definitely don't want a setback. But he's feeling better, and he started back out with some movements and some passing today. So hopefully it's not too long for him.
And just finally from me, I've got to ask you about, obviously the club have announced they're going to do a social media boycott next weekend. I know you're on Twitter. I just wanted to get your views on that whole subject in terms of A, the abuse, and B, obviously what the clubs are doing to try and speak up about the abuse that takes place on social media.
Yeah, I mean, every club's doing it, and I don't expect that this is going to change everything in one go, but I think it's good to raise awareness about things that are happening online and things that are happening to different people. So yeah, I mean, social media can be a fantastic platform for many different things, and in a football club for fan engagement and things like that. But it can always come with a negative side, and I think everybody would prefer social media to be a positive outlet for both the football club and supporter interaction. So hopefully this does something to try to raise awareness about online abuse and definitely try to make an improvement for the better.
Do you think social media has been good for football in the overall picture? It's a difficult question to answer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think everything's got good and bad. I think it's given people a platform to of course have an opinion and have a say, and every fan has absolutely a right to have their opinions. I think it's great. It's what football's about. Football is about differing opinions. It's just that sometimes it can be when it's people behind a screen. Sometimes they'll say things that maybe they wouldn't say sat in the pub with somebody else. So sometimes it can go too far. But I think in general, it's been a great way. I think people talk about footballers and maybe coaches being detached from normal society, and that this is a way of reattaching them. So it's come with many negatives, but there's definitely some positives for it as well.
And just finally on the game tomorrow night, I know it's a huge game in the context of the table, isn't it? Are we verging in, I know I hate to use this phrase, but must-win territory?
Hey, I mean, in our opinion, every game is must-win, really, because we want to finish as high as we possibly can. So we go in with must-win on every game. You know, we want to go all in for wins every week, and in order to do that, we have to try to deliver the same kind of performance we did in the last game.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
Hi Ian, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you, very well. Just a few follow-up questions from myself and one Nathan. Of course, you mentioned that it felt a little bit like a loss given the circumstances of the result of the weekend, but given the performance now, you said that the players could take a lot from the game. What's the move been like for them now that they've had a couple of days to reflect? How are the players feeling?
Yeah, I mean, your immediate reactions are real disappointment, but then after that, I think it was probably good having the bus journey back, because we kind of went around and we discussed a little bit things that happened in the game and what was good and what was bad. And I think it's quite good. Sometimes if you have a home game, everybody disperses and you kind of lose that. So it's probably good to have that long bus journey back, and we discussed a lot of the things. And I think by the end of it, we kind of felt like, look, we delivered on a lot of things that can help us win football matches. So let's focus on that.
On those bus journeys, is that something you do often on long trips, that you kind of like dissect the game and discuss areas that you've done well or could improve on?
Yeah, I mean, I watch the game back, so I just immediately watch it back and then just kind of reference, did it look how I thought it looked? And in this case, I think it pretty much did. And then, yeah, we sometimes we might even just show one or two little clips to the players, or just have dialogue really around the game and what they thought. And I think that's quite a good thing to have.
For sure, yeah. How did the players respond to that?
Yeah, we want to win football matches, so a draw we're not happy with, but they can see the value in what we've been trying to do on the pitch, on the training pitch, and then how it looked when we did it in a game and how that felt. So I think they were quite good messages to have.
Sure, and like you said, an encouraging performance. I'm interested to know at what stage does it start becoming more about the results instead of the performance? You know, the games where you sometimes have to dig in and win ugly just so that you can make a good playoff, per se.
Yeah, but I don't think it's just so. If you say win ugly, I don't know if you mean just kick the ball away so that it's not near our goal. But I don't think we're good at that. I think we're better when we're calm and we keep the ball, because that's what we did in the first half to put us in that position. So actually, when we became a bit more stressed and started going back to front too quickly, actually then we were giving the ball back to them and they were putting it on us. So I think we have to be really brave to keep doing the things that put us 2-0 up and then try and go for a third, rather than be negative. I mean, you always have a situation where you tend to go a little bit deeper because teams are putting more and more long balls onto you, so that's natural. But I think once we regain the ball, we have to be better to play it forwards through the pitch so that we can play in their half more.
And like you discussed with Lee as well, I guess it's that mindset as well, isn't it? You know, the instinct is to just get it late on, as far away from the goal as possible, and kind of like that. What you have been doing so well in the first half kind of like goes out the window a little bit.
Yeah, it does. And if we say win ugly, one thing we have to do is be really, really brave on the set pieces at the end, and that's maybe the ugly bit inside our box that we want to scrub up on.
Sure, and as we mentioned, of course, it's getting ever tight in the National League table now. I mean, it's really there for someone to just grab it, go on a good run, and propel themselves up the table now.
Yeah, it is, and I think we're in a position to go on a good run. I look at the fixtures, and we have had tough fixtures. Away at Torquay, away at Hartlepool, now away at Eastleigh. We haven't had an easy run of fixtures in context of the league, but I do think when I look at the fixtures, even though we have a lot of away games, I still feel like there's a lot of points for us to pick up. So I'm sure that our aim is to go on a positive run now and gain that momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say, how I'm not sure if you'll have looked at some of the other teams around you in the games they've got left, but in terms of the fixtures you've got, how do you think your running could compare to some of the others? Are you happy with the games you've got?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you saw us against Torquay, who are sat top of the league, and I think that we were more than worth 3 points in that game. So if you take that as a reference point, I think any game that we play is possible to win. So we have to go with that attitude, and we go for that in every game that we play.
Sure, and like we said, it's Eastleigh up next. From having played them quite recently, what are you expecting there from the trip there?
Yeah, I mean, they were direct, to say the least, in the last game that we played, and they caused us problems with that. Physically, they've got a lot of power, and they'll be dangerous again, set plays, and I guess they'll move the ball back to front extremely quick, so we'll have to certainly cope with that. And yeah, like you say, we played them not so long ago, so we know plenty about them, so there's no excuses for us not being prepared for this one.
And of course, they were the away side last time. Do you think their approach could change with them being the home team this time out?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. No,
that's fair enough. And then just finally, as you mentioned, it's a lot of fixtures now between the end of May. I mean, it's an incredibly relentless run, and no more spare midweeks between now and I think it's the 29th, the final Saturday. I mean, just how are you going to kind of like cope with that? And have you ever faced anything like that before? I mean, it's an incredibly intense run of games. I've never seen anything like it.
No, I think the fixture schedule for us has been quite remarkable since I came in. I mean, we've had like 1 week of training, and the rest has just been kind of midweek game, weekends, a couple of days in between. It's relentless. But we just need to get in a rhythm, enjoy the games, enjoy the fact that we've got this level of competition. Every 3 or 4 days we've got a new opportunity to get points, and look at it through a positive lens rather than this is going to be difficult, or we're going to be tired. I think we go in, and I think tiredness can go out of the window at this stage of the season, and we just got to enjoy the pressure and the competition. And I think that way, this can be an exciting period rather than a difficult period. I'd rather see it as a really exciting period.
Sure. Yeah. I was going to say as well, on the flip side, if you do go on a good run and get that momentum, I guess it's a lot easier to keep that up when the games are coming so quickly.
Yeah, definitely. If you, like you saw, we had 3 losses in 7 days, and we had the 2 wins before that, and we were talking about can we win the league, and then within 7 days, oh my God, what's going on? And so a lot can happen in 7 days. So we want to turn that on a positive and have a really good couple of weeks now, and that can put us in a really strong position.